All right. So welcome, everyone. I see we've got about 40 viewers currently, so hopefully that keeps growing over the course of the next few minutes. Before we get started, I just want to make our traditional territories acknowledgement. The University of Manitoba campuses are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. And we respect the treaties that were made on these territories, and we acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past. And we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. So today we will be talking to you a little bit about the different options that you have here at the University of Manitoba in the life sciences. I will be joined by Dr. Brasinga from the Department of Microbiology, Dr. Hausner, who's going to talk to us a bit about the genetics program also from microbiology, and Dr. Kapoor, who is hopefully on his way, and we'll be talking a little bit about the biochemistry program. And my name is Christy Lester, and I will be talking to you today about the Department of Biological Sciences and the different degree programs that we offer. Next slide, please, Karen. So Department of Biological Sciences, we do a lot of teaching and research in areas of biology that span everything from cells to studying ecosystems and everything in between. Next slide, please, Karen. And there are 6 different sort of theme areas in biology that you can have concentration on in terms of courses. You can, of course, take courses from any one of these themes, but the broad-based themes are cell molecular and developmental biology, ecology and environmental biology, environmental and integrative physiology, evolution and biodiversity, integrative biology, and of course, in conjunction with microbiology, we offer degrees with a genetics focus. So those are the main biology theme areas. Again, there are courses in each theme that students are often interested in, depending on their focus. So, for example, in the ecology and environmental biology theme, we offer a marine biodiversity class that also has crossover, of course, to evolution and biodiversity. In cell molecular and developmental biology, we have a genes and development class. That class is really popular because the instructor for that, or the professor for that class, Jeffrey Marcus, has students develop a research project and see it through as a class from start to finish, and that results in publication. So they do genetics work on butterflies and look at biogeography and things like that, and that class ends up with having a publication at the end of it. But those are the different theme areas. Can we go to the next slide, please? So there are 4 different program options in biology. So the first is a 4-year major degree option. So this is, you would take a degree program over the course of 4 years with courses that are related to one of the 4 different theme groups. We also offer the 4-year major with a co-op option. So there you do a work term and gain experience and maybe network for potential future jobs. And that adds on typically an additional year, 6 months to a year to your program, depending on how you plan it out. There's also the honors degree option. In the honors degree option, during your 4th year, you would do an honors research project with one of our faculty members. So typically you would be participating in a research project that you have helped to design. You will analyze data, you will write up a thesis, and you will present that thesis for that honors degree. The honors degree also comes in a co-op option as well, where you would do a few work terms and gain work experience in the areas you might be interested in. Next slide, please. You may be interested in knowing what the high school prerequisites are for entry into the biology program. For direct entry into science, you need high school English, so English 40S. For direct entry into science, you need pre-calculus math 40S. And then you would need biology 40S and one of chemistry or physics. If you're not planning to go direct entry into Faculty of Science, if you're coming from into University 1, and you just want to take the introductory level biology class, which is Bio 1020, you would need any math, so it doesn't have to be the pre-calculus math, although pre-calculus math is recommended. You also need the biology 40S and then one of the chemistry 40S and physics 40S. Next slide, please. So there are a lot of opportunities for undergraduate students in the Department of Biological Sciences. Many undergraduate students seek out opportunities for research during their undergrad, and there are various awards offered at the national level and at a faculty level that help to support students to complete that research in many different areas. If you go to our website, the Biological Sciences website, there is a listing there of all of the faculty and staff who are engaged in research at the moment and whose research you may be interested in getting into during your undergraduate program. We also have the Biology Undergraduate Student Association, or BUGS. BUGS is very active in helping to connect the different sort of theme areas, students in different theme areas in biology. They do a lot of various activities like poster presentations and meet and greets, activities for Halloween, and even in the COVID world, we are still offering some of those get-togethers. So they have like trivia nights online right now through Zoom that offer, little prizes and things that can be sent virtually. We also offer a few field courses and are in the process of developing new ones. One that has been popular in the past is Arctic Field Ecology, where students get the opportunity to go up to Churchill and conduct a field course up there. We also have Wetland Ecology, which operates in different wetlands across Manitoba. At one point, we were also offering a field ecology course operating out of Costa Rica, and there are plans to maybe bring that back. And then there are also opportunities for outreach, right? When you are an undergraduate student, it can be hard to sort of find ways to get engaged with members of your department or within the faculty. And so there are many different outreach events during the year. Those include things like Science Rendezvous, which brings together science students from across Manitoba to put on a science fair, essentially for children over the course of a weekend. Biology has the BioBuzz program. BioBuzz basically does outreach to schools, particularly in rural areas of Manitoba. So we do school visits, science, engineering, and technology day, events like this one, like open house. We often have students assist with that. So lots of opportunities for you to get involved. Next slide, please, Karen. And then finally, careers in biological sciences can span the gamut. So what do you do once you have this 4-year undergraduate degree? Well, you might decide to continue studying to get a master's degree or a PhD in a particular area. You may go on into research and development, into education, conservation, environment. We have many graduates who've gone on to work with Department of Fisheries and Oceans, who've gone on to work with engineering firms who are in need of people to run environmental assessments before, after, and during different projects they're conducting. Or you may decide to go further in your graduate studies and on to professional practice. So things like medicine, dentistry, physiotherapy, occupational therapy, physician's assistant or pathologist assistant program. So there's a lot of different programs that your biology degree can potentially lead into. Next slide, Karen. And so finally, we've got one of the buildings that Biological Sciences is housed in. Many of the first year biology laboratories are located on the first floor there, as are the microbiology labs. And so with that, I will turn things over to Dr. Bersinga, who's going to tell us a little bit about the microbiology program.
So yes, hi everyone. My name is Karen Basinga. I'm a professor in the Department of Microbiology. So as Kirsty said, that we have this building that we share with biological sciences. So I'll tell you a little bit about what microbiology is. So microbiology, some of you may or may not have touched on this topic in high school yet. What it is really a study of microorganisms, and I'll go more into that in the next slide. The degree options are very similar to what Kristen says about biology. You can do 4-year major honors program. Or if you wish, you can introduce a cooperative component with a degree program. In terms of a student experience, and again, a lot of these things you already heard about with respect to biological sciences, there's a microbiology aspect to it. We have the undergraduate club from the microbiology. So they hold events, they have trivia nights, now everything's virtual, of course, seminars, and anything that talks about microbiology research. We also have the opportunity to do original research, much in the same fashion as Kristen described in microbiology. And the minimum high school prerequisites are, again, very similar to what is described for biological sciences. So what is microbiology? So this encompasses microorganisms. This can be viruses, bacteria, archaea, which is a division of bacteria, fungi, and cells. So these could be protozoa cells, or if you're looking at mammalian cells, on a cellular level. How we can use microbiology? Well, there's a lot of big connections between these small teams. We have the environment and ecology part, with food security. If you want to make agriculture better with bacteria and soil to make the plants grow. We have biocontrol to get rid of the pests. We have water control measures. We also can go more into the basic science with cell development and bioinformatics. We can also have biotechnology that can lead to production of vaccines and antibodies. And also we have some discoveries with respect to mechanisms of disease, so cancer control, antibiotic resistance, and there's also more infrastructure biology, which Dr. Rajapur was talking more about. So microbiology is, even though it's a field of it has a lot of big connections. What would be useful about microbiology? You'll gain a toolbox of skills. So you gain knowledge of all disciplines of microbiology. So this could be biology, this could be bacteriology, this could be fungus, this could be protozoa. You'll get to an opportunity very similar to the biological sciences to be trained to analyze and solve problems. And so on doing this degree, you get a specialized toolbox of skills that can be transferred to any position that would be involved in microbiology. And here are some examples of some microbiology jobs. So you can go into professional health programs such as medical school, pharmacy, and dentistry. You can go into research consulting positions, federal and provincial. You can also go into industry, beer making, dairy, cheese, along those lines, or you can go into academia. It's not limited to this list, but this is just an example.
Karen, can I interrupt you quickly? There appears to be feedback that we're experiencing on the microphones. Does anybody have like their speakers on that may be broadcasting the signal? I think has sorted it out. Yeah, they were having trouble hearing us.
Let me see if I can fix it. I'm finished my
presentation. It's fixed. I can tell already it's fixed.
Okay, perfect then.
Yep.
Okay, so then I will pass over the torch to Dr. Hausner for the genetics program.
Hello, so please the next slide. Yes, so I'm the chair of the interdisciplinary program in genetics. And just to keep it somewhat simple, so genetics is basically the study of heredity and mechanism of inheritance. But what it breaks down to is a detailed investigation of obviously genomes, genes, DNA, RNA, and how it all works in terms of different types of organisms, from viruses to prokaryotes to eukaryotes. And the key part here is it is an interdisciplinary program. And so it involves courses from biology, microbiology, chemistry, agriculture, anthropology, even medicine, like human genetics. So the advantage of genetics is, I would say, it gives you a little bit of everything, the best of all the worlds. As an undergraduate program, again, similar options. You have honors degrees, master's degrees, 4 years. In terms of gaining research experience, with an honors degree, you get to do a research project within a lab in your 4th year. However, honors and majors also come with the option of doing a co-op. And these are basically work-study type experiences where you can work in a government, private sector, or research laboratories. And that gives you valuable hands-on experience. Next slide, please. Now, in terms of how do you get into genetics, typically that decision by many students is made in their 2nd year, because the 1st year types of courses you would take is very similar what you would take when you enter the Faculty of Science in terms of starting in biology or microbiology, to some degree maybe even chemistry. So here are some of the grade 12 courses you should consider, which would be sort of good prerequisites to have. So they're listed here: English, calculus, math, biology, chemistry, all 40S. And then the next slide, please. Now, again, when you pursue a university degree, fundamentally you get an education. And hopefully that gets you up on critical thinking, it gets you up on learning some hands-on skill. And then, like in the previous 2 departments which introduced themselves, there's a whole range of different opportunities. So with genetics, then, what can I do with it specifically maybe? Well, I have a long list here. Obviously, a lot of medical research is interested in how genes work, especially those associated with diseases. There's a lot of industry, pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies who work with DNA and RNA-based technology. Some students use genetics, and ultimately they want to become doctors or go into medicine or pharmacy, etc. So for professional programs. We have graduate programs which are specific to genetic counseling and diagnostics here at U of M, and others use the genetics background to do and PhD degrees in biology or microbiology or other disciplines. As I said, there's opportunities in agriculture, public health, cancer, anthropology. It's quite large, including something you may not always think about, like patent laws. Technologies need to be understood and processed by people. So a good genetics science background will definitely help you. And that's all I would like to say here in 3 short slides to give you a taste of what genetics might offer and what it's all about. Thank you. And with that, I pass it on to biochemistry.
Hello, everybody. Do I have an echo?
A little bit of one.
Okay.
I don't know where it might be coming from. We didn't have this issue earlier.
Okay, maybe if everybody turns off their microphones. Can everybody mute their microphones? Okay. Can you hear me? Is it okay?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, great. Okay. So hello, everybody. I'm Mazdak Kajapur. You have we have spoken a lot about to enter degrees in genetics or microbiology programs. The requirements for biochemistry is similar to the requirements for the genetics programs. So I will not repeat that to you guys. Again, you would need to have taken, chemistry and biology in your high school, as well as some math. So what is biochemistry? Biochemistry is the application of chemistry to the study of biological processes at the cellular and molecular level. So if you like chemistry and you like biology, then biochemistry, and you like both of them, then biochemistry is the program for you. Effectively, you both need to know chemistry very well, and we study a lot of things about chemistry in the program, and we also need to learn a lot about cellular processes. The methods that are used in biochemistry include the methods of chemistry. So we do, for example, you can do peptide sequencing. We use physics. For example, we use analytical ultracentrifugation in order to separate different biochemical molecules from one another. We use methods of molecular biology to overexpress, to make more protein, to make lots of protein. And also we use immunology methods in order to separate proteins from one another as a separation process. And we use all of these methods to study the structure and behavior of complex molecules that are found in biological materials, and we also want to understand how these molecules interact with one another to form cells, tissues, and whole organisms. So this is what biochemistry does in general. Dr. Brasinga, can I have the next slide, please? So who are us and what do we work on? So I've put 6 of the biochemists over here. That's most of us. And in the top, if you look at the different types of research that they do, they fall into a whole gamut of various research areas. Dr. Palka, which is up in the upper left corner over here, is a biochemist who studies viruses and issues about virus replication and other beautiful stuff about viruses. I, who am down here, work a lot more in the interface of physics and chemistry. I'm interested in the properties of biological molecules and what makes biological molecules very special. Dr. Mark, up there at the upper right-hand corner, likes to study about antibiotics and uses biochemistry to study why some molecules, why some organisms develop resistance towards antibiotics. Dr. Stetefeld works on understanding big complexes and the structure of big complexes of molecules, things that make vast things like the proteasome and other types of large assembled structures. Dr. McKenna talks about and tries to study about RNA. You've heard a lot about mRNA vaccines for the COVID-19 vaccine method, and Dr. McKenna's research is related, not to COVID necessarily, but how RNA interacts with proteins. In addition, we have Dr. Prenna, who also is interested in understanding what molecules causes bacteria to become lethal to their hosts. And Dr. Budisa is actually trying to, look at synthetic biology, how we can, why is biochemistry limited only to the canonical amino acids? Why can't we use special amino acids to do special chemistry? These are all very exciting pieces of research that are done by the biochemistry faculty here in this university. This is a program that has people from 2 departments, chemistry. Half of us are from chemistry and half of us are from the Department of Microbiology. May I have the next slide, Dr. Brasinga, please? So what are the study and research options? Again, you can enter a 4-year major or honors program in the Joint Microbiology and Chemistry program in biochemistry. All of these programs also can include a co-op program, which means that you can, get some work experience, some practical experience in conjunction with your studies. And if you're interested in that, please talk with Ms. Timpog. She is very, very interested in, providing help in this regard. We also you can also do research opportunities in the Faculty of Science, which I'm happy to say that our program in biochemistry is very interested in this, in summer research. And you can also do research as a course and, gain credit for doing research for 2 semesters. If there are any other questions, please feel free to talk to me. I'm very happy to receive any questions from you, both here and later on. And with this, I think I can conclude our presentation. I can't hear you, Christy.
So with that, if there are any questions that you might have for any of us, you can feel free to type them into the chat. We've already had a question about University One that I've answered. Maybe, Dr. Bersinga, if you can bring back up your particular slides, there was a request to do some of those slides again. Hi, Emily. So yes, there are a variety of different departments within the Faculty of Science, and you do not need to declare your major right away. So if you're going into your first year as a direct entry science student or as a University One student, you might take courses in chemistry, biology, in physics, in computer science, across multiple disciplines. And you do not need to declare which of those specific disciplines you plan to major in until your second year. Some students don't even do it until their third year. And once you have declared your major, you can always change it. So if you're in a program and halfway through the program, you decide that it's not really for you, you are free to change your major to another one within the Faculty of Science, or even within another faculty at the U of M. Although, of course, we all hope that you remain science students with us and help to contribute to the knowledge that is going out into the world.
Okay, so then I guess I will redo my microbiology section. So I'll do this very, very quickly. This slide is kind of already repeating a lot of what others have said about biological sciences, genetics, and biochem. You do have the experience of the microbiology. I think the slide that everybody wanted to see was the relatedness of microbiology to what you can do with a microbiology degree. So this is a very nice slide that I have that shows all the connections between the environment and ecology that relates to food security, bioremediation, biofuels, biocontrol, instead of using chemical pesticides. You can have cell development and bioinformatics. This is more hard science with genetics. So this would be a nice link to the genetics program with Dr. Hausner. You also have biotech approaches from using your knowledge of molecular biology and genetics that you can attain as a sub-area of microbiology and go into the production of vaccines and antibodies. Or then, if you wish, you can tailor your program or your interest by using your microbiology degree and to go more into disease treatment. So whether it be bacterial, viral, or other disease mechanisms involved. So just to give you a quick overview of what microbiology can be used for in terms of applications and interest. It's a good education to have. It's very wide variety. You can go many different ways. And it gives you a nice toolbox of skills that you can use in your career choice. So if there's any further questions, please let me know through the chat function. I'm going to close the share function here.
So a lot of these have to do with admission. So if you meet the minimum requirements for the faculty, would you recommend entering university directly through the faculty or to take U1 first? So I would recommend, if you know that you want to be a science student and you have the prerequisite grades to become a science student immediately, then I would suggest that direct entry into science is going to be the best way to go. It will put you into contact more quickly with science advisors and with sort of the different members of the faculty who are going to help you along with your degree program. Another question, I'm planning to take University One and want to take science classes, particularly biology. Which classes would you recommend as a general overview of all of the departments? So for us, that would be our first year courses that are required for you to move on to any other classes. which is Biol 1020. I'll write these in the chat, and Biol 1030. And these are in the course calendar, which you can look up online. And so those are basically a review of a lot of the biology that is covered in high school, but a little bit more in depth. And maybe the others can discuss some of the foundational courses that their departments are offering.
So for microbiology, we have introduction to microbiology courses. We have MBio 1010-2020, which gives you a good sense of what microbiology is about, and that would be the entry courses into the degree program. Again, when you first enter into a university, you're not really sure what you want to do. Take the opportunity while doing the core essential courses of the degree program. You can take courses and get a taste of what you like, and then by true experience of these courses, then you could go into a degree program that seems to be of your interest at that time. And of course, if it doesn't work for you, you can always change it out. So for microbiology, it's MBio 1010-2020, which is also part of the genetics program as well, I believe. Please correct me on that, Dr. Hausner.
It is, yes.
Yes, and then also if you wish to go into biochem, I believe it's also part of the biochem program, 1010-2020, I believe, right, Dr.
That is absolutely correct, yes.
Yeah, so then by taking 1010-2020, you have the option of going either into microbiology or into genetics or into biochem. Biological sciences is slightly different with respect to the courses they use to go into their program, but they have their theme streams as well. So maybe, Christy, you can comment on those.
Can I have a bit of a conversation? So yes, in addition to all the courses that Dr. Brasinga and Dr. Hausner have said, you also, I think it's true for biology as well. Is that correct? We should all take chemistry, the two first. Well, they're all required. So you have to take what is currently 1300 and 1310, but those numbers will change next year. I think it's at Chem 1100, but you can ask your scientific advisors for the correct numbers, but you have to take two chemistries as well. And that's required for all the biology and life sciences courses. And then you would also have, for biochemistry, you would have to take the microbiology course that Dr. Brasinga spoke about, the first two biologies, and in the second year you'll take your first biochemistry course. Any questions?
I'm trying to catch up with the feed here. I have one with microbiology. I am currently doing Applied Math 40S, and I'm interested in microbiology. Do all science programs require PCal Math 40? I believe yes.
Yes, and in addition, and actually biochemistry is a course that requires you to take calculus. So you have to take the first calculus for biochemistry.
Okay. Thank you, Chrissy, for answering all these questions. They're coming faster than we can answer them. Any more questions for anyone else?
Christy, you're muted, by the way.
If any of the remaining 25 of you have any other questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, our broadcast will be ending since it was supposed to be over 5 minutes ago.
It shows a lot of interest on behalf of our student, our audience.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's a very good thing.
Oh, here we go. Thank you. Here's one for you, Dr. Hausner. I'm interested in the genetics program. Is physics an important class to have?
Well, with science becoming more and more integrative, I think it would be very useful. I think nowadays it's very, very difficult to understand complex issues, especially if you think more in the future. without having a broader base. So I would suggest to give physics a strong consideration, definitely at high school and first year university level. I think it also helps you to potentially jump into other streams if you change your mind. It's always important to keep sort of a fairly open book in the first year or two, because sometimes you don't quite know yet what you're really interested in. So by having, a bit of diversity in what courses you chose, you can then move into other programs. So the answer is yes, physics, I would highly recommend it.
Okay, I think that's the end of all the questions from our review.
Although our numbers are climbing. Yeah, I think that is all of the questions for today. So I'd like to thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions that weren't answered here that you would like to have answered, you can feel free to contact the Faculty of Science advisors. They have the answers to these questions as well, especially in terms of prerequisites and what you need to get in to different classes. You can also email myself if you're interested in the biology program. I'll just type my email address here in the chat. And if you have any questions about the biology program specifically, or biological sciences program specifically, you can send me an email and I will answer your questions there. So thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy all of the other talks and booths that you're visiting this afternoon.
Okay, I've also posted my email address for those who are interested in microbiology. If you're interested in biochem and genetics, you can go to the website, unless Dr. Hausner and Dr. Kachagor wants to type in their email addresses.
I'm typing it in now.
I will do mine.
It's a race. Which one will come first? Will it be Dr. Hausner or Dr. Kachagor?
Who's got the connection?
Am I posted?
Oh, Mazdak won.
Dr. Hausner came in last.
My keyboard is funny. That's my excuse. Yes, last, but hopefully not least.
Okay.
The one that everyone will remember because it's the last one.
Again. Okay.
There we go. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you
for joining us.
Okay.
Okay, I have stopped the broadcast, I think.